Hello and welcome to the next episode of my channel where I'll be taking up the lesson Glimpses of India Part 1 where we'll be talking about Goa. So in this chapter the narrator says that the elders living in Goa are still nostalgic about those days when bread was an essential part of Goan culture. Now, with the advancement of time, those eaters of those loaves have vanished. People have stopped eating those traditional types of bread, but the bread makers are still present in Goa. That is, the mixers, molders, and all those who love baking the loaves are still present in Goa, but the loaves eaters have vanished with time. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished. It means people in Goa have not forgotten how to make bread in the traditional way. Now, the narrator takes us back to those days when he was a child and he used to wake up by the sound of the baker's bamboo announcing his arrival in the morning, and which could be heard from far away places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. Now, what does this line mean? It means that maybe the padders who are present in Goa now are the sons of those successful padders. But right now, the padder business is not that prosperous, is not that successful. So these bakers in Goa are still known as padders. So what have we learned so far? That making bread is a traditional culture of Goa. The bread eaters have decreased to a great extent, but the people who make bread are still present. So what can we deduce? That bread making is not a profitable business right now as compared to earlier. Now, during the narrator's childhood, the baker was a very, very prime person in a society. He used to come twice a day, once in the morning when he was going around to sell his stuff, and once while coming back. And he used to make sound with his bamboo stick, which used to wake these children up, and they used to, surround him, and they ran to greet him. And it was not that these children loved eating loaves. The loaves were bought by the servants, some Portuguese servants with name Pasquine and Bastine, the maid servants of the house. That means the Portuguese. Earlier there were more number of Portuguese living in Goa, but these children were not after the loaves. They were after the bread bangles which were sold by these padders. And the bakers used to make a musical entry. What do you mean by musical entry? Because they had a bamboo in their hands, so they used to make the sound with the bamboo. It sounded something like jang jang. And with one hand he used to hold the basket, with other hand he used to hold the bamboo. And the kids would the bakers, the padder would used to push the children aside when they surrounded him, but that was a very mild scolding, mild rebuke which he gave to the children. But the children would still not give up. They would, because the padder had the basket on his head, so the children had to climb a particular platform or something to peep into the basket. And what was their love? These children only wanted bread bangles, not the loaves. Loaves were for the elders and bangles for the children. And then they directly ate the bread bangle. And there is a little humor here added by the narrator, that a tiger doesn't need to brush before eating anything. Over here he compares the children or himself to tigers. Now next we learn about how bread was an integral cultural part of Goan culture, and marriage gifts held no meaning without the sweet bread known as the bowl. And even the party or the feast did not have its charm without bread. And always there were lots and lots of bread. The lady of the house would prepare sandwiches for her daughter's engagement, cakes and bolhinas for Christmas and other festivals. So bread was essential. It was a ceremonious thing. The baker or bread seller of those days had a special dress called kabai, which would reach, till the knee length of the person, and it was something like a long frock reaching down to the knees. And in the narrator's childhood, they saw bakers wearing a shirt and a trouser which was shorter than full length ones and longer than half pants. So traditionally they wore a kabai, but when the narrator was small, they had little transformed the dress to shirts which were a little longer and shirts and pants which were just till the knee. And even today when anybody wears such a dress, he is known as a padder. And the baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month, and from what we have read so far, we can understand that baking was really a profitable profession. And if you have good money in house, you will have a good physique. So anybody who had a plum physique was said to be a baker. Even today, anybody with a jackfruit like physique means somebody who has a fat belly, is compared to a baker. So I hope you have understood. Thank you.